What's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome back in. And if you missed sports last week, don't worry. I got you. You're funny. Oh, let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, Niners! All the talking heads that was like, the Lakers dead in the water. Listen, just shut up. Stop talking. If it fell in their lap, it fell in their lap, but they didn't chase it. Bam Adebayo chased it, and it looked disgusting. And the only team that picked the Patriots to win are people that were Patriots fans or people that just want to be antagonists just so that way they can drive any kind of traffic to their content. We made it. And before we even get into that, yes, it's 4 a.m. But I'm here. Look, the bags under my eyes, they just part of the brand at this point, all right? Games in late night. I wake up early in the morning, get this out to you because I got you, all right? And let me tell you, Tuesday did not mail it in. We had a legal bombshell in the NBA that you got to hear about. We had OT hockey, 3 teams stave off elimination. We had another baseball coach that's fired, and one of the baseball's finest was carted off the field in one night. So strap up. And if you're new, this is Tuesday to Tuesday, every league filtered down to everything that actually matters, all right? Let's roll. Quick housekeeping. New concept this week. Pay attention. We are now all inclusive through Tuesday night. That means everything through every league through last night in this video. This is your one-stop shop. I got you. Like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. Do it right now while I'm talking. It takes a second, helps the channel. I'll wait. All right, cool. Let's do it. So we're going to get this thing kicked off in Pittsburgh because, as we know, the whole world stopped last week for the NFL draft. And there's a lot to unpack. So I'm going to give you the headliners, the head scratchers, everything in between. And then, because it's my show, we're going to really deep dive onto what the 49ers did because we'll get to that. All right, pick number 1, Oakland Raiders go out and pick Fernando Mendoza. I mean, this was the chalk pick. Everybody knew this was coming. That was the joke on X. Easy A. They needed a quarterback. They took a quarterback. On to the next. Pick number 2, things get fun. The Jets go out and get their edge rusher, David Bailey. All right. And now most pundits are saying that the Jets A+ draft here, okay? Which is very rare to hear from the talking heads, right? The Jets were able to trade back into the first round, get 3 first rounders, stacking up that depth. I seen somewhere that they said it was reminiscent of the Cleveland Browns 2017 draft, right? Look, kind of cursing them, but high praise though. Then Arizona, number 3, whole world watching. What you gonna do? Jeremiah Love. So Love, he was a projected late first rounder. He's a great player. I'm definitely not knocking him as a player. But in 2026, when the entire league for the last 10 years have been preaching positional value and not spending premium capital on running backs, Arizona straight up looked at the board and was like, nah, we know what we're doing. PFF, ESPN, every person with a mic roasted them for this pick. All right. Pick 4, Tennessee Titans take wide receiver Cornell Tate, also higher than a lot of people expected. And then, the Giants of all people have to come back and inject some sanity into the draft. And they go ahead and grab Arvell Reese, a dog, okay? This dude, Ohio State, linebacker, edge, hybrid type. He was number 1 on most people's draft boards. Hey, NFL owners, guys, sometimes the best move is not overthinking it. If you want to know everybody that got drafted, ESPN has the list. But what we'll do is we'll jump into some of those winners, okay? And what consensus the internet is saying who won, who lost the draft. And as we know, you can't really tell until 3, 4, 5 years down the line. But we're going to do like everybody else, and we're going to do it now. One of the big winners, Cleveland Browns. I even seen Mel Kiper give him an A plus. Look, Denzel Boston, top 20 talent. He fell to 39. They scooped him up there. Safety, Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Yeah, they scooped him too. Somebody I wish the 49ers would have got. And they also addressed the offensive tackle. They pick up Spencer Fennell. All right, so it's just a beautiful draft from the Cleveland Browns, and I love it all the way around. I mean, some would say that the Raiders won the draft. Okay, they not only got their quarterback, they got some depth, and they even were able to, with having the picks, they were able to swing. Round 4, pick 101, they get Jermod McCoy. He failed because of the ACL and knee injuries, but look, I mean, they were able to swing on him, and if he plans out, I mean, that is a steal. The Giants and the Eagles, I mean, they both just mastermind this draft, in my opinion. Howie Roseman strikes again, trades up with one of my losers in this draft, the Dallas Cowboys, and gets one of the steals of the draft. We got to jump to the losers because the Cowboys, how is everybody else getting better but you? I just don't understand it. Yes, I give them credit. They got Caleb Downs, and he's a dog. I get it. But what else did they do? Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh my goodness. Where were you? Miami Dolphins. Come on, guys. 13 picks. Your fan base is going to try to sell me on the fact that you had a good draft, but most pundits will say this was a belly flop. Now, 3 to 5 years down the line, we may see that these guys pan out, but looking at it right now, you had the most picks in the draft and you kind of blew it. And then there's my team, okay? Man, as a 49er faithful, I mean, you probably knew that this segment was coming. So I'm going to give it to you straight, all right? The internet consensus on the 49ers draft is a D plus. Now, the phrase being thrown around is the reach factory. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. Shanahan and Lynch don't give a damn about y'all big boards. They have their own board. They always have, they always will. Okay, Grand Cone? They value things like speed, blocking, and character more than the consensus would. So when their picks don't match, the whole internet melts down. And I mean, I get it. So the first two moves, they move back and then move back again, completely out of the first round. As a fan of the 49ers, they normally don't nail their first round pick unless it's a surefire pick like Nick Bosa. So I'm cool with it. You get somebody on a cheaper contract and you can't miss. But then the guy that they actually chose with this number 33 pick, this is the pick that kind of broke the internet. They had a whole night to think about who they wanted. They could have traded back this pick. Again, this guy that they picked, pretty sure he would have been there in 10 picks, maybe even 20. Um, they could have picked anyone, but they chose Dazon Stribling, wide receiver, Ole Miss. They got him at 33. Consistent big board, third or fourth round pick. 4.3640. Defense is like jet fuel. Shanahan is like, he's a really good blocker. His blocking, we need guys that could stretch the field, that can catch, beat man coverage. And you're talking about the blocking. Now, I get it. I get it. We need blocking wide receivers. But you have drafted a high wide receiver in 4 straight drafts because they block well. And when you play against Seattle, they can't catch. At some point, Shanahan, let the value fall to you. Please. Don't overthink it every single year. This guy. Then, in the bottom of the second, where they could have got offensive guard, offensive tackle, safety, cornerback, linebacker, I mean, any of this, they trade back again. Okay, I digress. That's fine. But then you trade back for Romello Height? Really? Romello Height? Dude, I mean, he's good. He's talented. I mean, he's very athletic. But the guy's a one-trick pony. He's not going to be on the field unless it's third down. And he's probably not going to start right away on third down. So you traded back a second round pick for a third round pick for a guy that's not going to play. And then the draft wouldn't be right unless Kyle Shanahan drafted a running back in the third round. This guy, I don't know. Somebody please, like he he gets his rocks off by drafting a third round running back that never works out. Absolutely. Look at his track record. You can go back. Look at every single third round running back this guy has picked. They don't even play. I just don't understand this guy. I don't understand this regime. I don't. There are a few bright spots. Grayson Halton, I mean, he was taken, a little bit later. He was a second round projected pick. They got him a little bit later, kind of like that. They got a cornerback, Ephesians Prysock. He's decent. He's a project, but getting him at the bottom of the fourth, closer to a fifth round pick, that makes sense. Some might even say that their undrafted free agents might be better than the actual drafted guys. We'll have to see. If the Niners win 10, 11, 12 games and they hold serve in the NFC, hey, look, I'll shut up. Do your thing. But if they go 9-8 and they miss the playoffs and they look bad against the Rams and the Seahawks, look, this draft class, I'm going to have to say something about that. So I hated my 49ers draft. Who's your team? Who'd they draft? Who'd you love? Who'd you hate? Who do you think won? Drop it down in the comment sections. But in the meantime, we're moving on to NBA. First off, I want to start with the story that dropped yesterday. Your boy Damon Jones went into the federal courthouse and yeah, he pled guilty. So if you haven't been following the stories, uh, Damon Jones pretty much got caught giving insider information to, you know, professional bettors, and the feds came down on him, and he walked right into the federal courthouse yesterday, pled guilty, and on January 6th, 2027, he will be sentenced to up to 78 months, which for those who don't like to do math is 6.5 years in federal prison. What did he plead guilty to? Well, he pled guilty to 2 counts. The first count, he admitted to selling insider information to professional bettors. Basically, I mean, he was an assistant coach, and he knew, injury report, starting lineups, rotations. He knew this stuff, and he sold this information. Count two, he was the face card, that's the legal term for it, for rigged poker games. And for somebody that's dealt poker for 9, almost 10 years, this is absolutely disgusting. This is one of the lowest things you can actually do, okay, in the poker world. Essentially, he was the guy that people will come to play the game to talk to hang out with. He lured these players in. They played with a fixed deck, a fixed table that could see their cards, and they cleaned out people one by one in Miami and the Hamptons. And he was the guy that lured the people in. This dude was dealing with the mob, the actual mob. Okay, so look, this guy just signed a plea deal, which means that he most likely is cooperating, aka he's snitching. And if he was selling information, somebody was buying it. All right, this was mob led, so that means that there's higher ups, and they're probably in the proffer. So we'll come back to this. We'll see it. It's just starting now. And if he's the first one to plead guilty, there's probably going to be some more pleads. And we're going to get more information about who actually is the ringleader to all this. All right. So we'll check back into that. But in the meantime, let's get down to what this NBA playoffs has been looking like. Okay, we'll go out east, starting with the number 1 seed. Oh my goodness, Detroit is blowing it. All right. Now, you can say that this was always going to be the thing because it was all Cade all year. They didn't really have shooters. They didn't have secondary ball handlers. And when the game slows down and it shrinks and it's all about one player, it gets really hard. Kids, this shows you how great LeBron James was, all right? He was carrying teams like Detroit, the team like that. He was carrying those kind of teams by himself to the finals, all right? By himself on his back. That's how hard doing that is for an entire playoff run. And K can't even do it for a series. All right. He needs help, yes, granted, but trust me, it's hard. All right. They're down 3-1 to the Magic. Can they turn this around and win the series in seven? Who knows? All right. I mean, Detroit, what's going on? I mean, what's going on, guys? Talk to me. Because in all honesty, both of these offenses look horrible. Horrible. Detroit just looked worse. Cavaliers, Raptors. Oh my goodness. Cavaliers went up 2-0. Toronto fought back another 2 games, 2-0. They won their holding serves. They always say a series doesn't start until a road team wins one game, and that ain't happened. So we're holding serve in this one, and we'll see if anything shakes out. I had Cleveland in 6. Let's see what happens. Knicks, Hawks. They've been battling, all right? See, the Knicks, to me, this was always going to be a 6 game series just because the Knicks needed to ramp things up. They're not as physical as Atlanta is, and they're not as athletic as Atlanta is. But Atlanta doesn't have the scores like New York does. Styles make fights. New York should win this series, but I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta pulls another one out in Atlanta. New York blew the doors off of Atlanta last night, so it might just be over. But who knows? I love 7 game series. And then you have Celtics, Philadelphia. Okay, look, this series has been one of those series where you thought Boston was going to run away, and then Philadelphia makes a stand, and then Boston then looks like they're going to run away again. And then last night, Philadelphia made a stand again. And Joel Embiid was Joel Embiid. This is the guy that they were saying is the best player in the NBA when he was that guy that he was last night. They were saying, we're not losing. We're not going out just yet. Now, will they win game 6 and force a game 7? Who knows? Right now, Boston is still up 3-2. I thought they would close them out at home. They looked like they were on the road to do it. They were up by double digits at halftime. Philly closes the gap, and then they just take over in the fourth quarter. Now, Boston can still close it out in 6 games, but look, it's the process, baby. It's the process, and he's balling. He heard the noise, and after game, I think it was game 4, when the first game that he came back. Look, everybody was saying, should Embiid have came back? Blah blah blah, whatever like that. He made it be known, I'm that guy. Let's shift over to the Western Conference. OKC doing OKC things. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're out of there. I had them in 4. They won in 4. The Suns, to me, they overachieved. Nobody thought they would even be in the playoffs. They made the 8th seed. Congrats to you guys. Keep rebuilding. I mean, you did better this year than you did last year with Durant. So kudos. Nuggets, Timberwolves. Now that series, honestly, it probably should be over. But Anthony Edwards got hurt. Dante DiVincenzo was out with the torn Achilles. And Denver was down 3-1, came back home, and they extended the series. All right. Um, I always had Denver in 7 in this series. Not this way, though. And to be honest, Minnesota has to win game 6 or they'll lose in 7. It's very simple. It's that plain. If they don't win in 6, they'll lose in 7. Now, granted, I don't want to see a Anthony Edwards list, Dante DiVincenzo list, Minnesota team against the Spurs. But I mean, if that's what we get, that's what we get. So I'm rooting for Denver to get it together because I want to see Jokic versus Wemby. All right. And I guess that's a little foreshadowing because the next series we're going to talk about is San Antonio Spurs. I also had them to win this series in 5 and hit it right on the head on there. And look, they won the first game, lost the second game in a game where Wemby leaves that game with a concussion. Okay, hits his face flat on the ground. I mean, you can go look at the videos; they're everywhere. Leaves that game with a concussion. San Antonio was actually winning that game, and then the Blazers have this crazy comeback at the end of the game where they come back and win that game. And then San Antonio goes on to win the next game without Wemby, then win the next game with Wemby on a minutes restriction, and then come back last night and end the series. Okay, so that series is over, and they'll play the winner of whoever wins between Denver and Minnesota. All right, Wemby's looking like Wemby. He's looking like, hey, look, I'm that guy. And my thing was, I thought that you know, it was going to be tougher on Wemby because he was going to have to play a lot of minutes. He was going, the playoff basketball is going to be tougher. But now, running through the Blazers, not even having to play really 2 games because of the concussion, his minutes haven't been up. Then next series, if you get Minnesota without Anthony Edwards and without Dante DiVincenzo, that's another series where they might win in 4 or 5 games where he doesn't have to exert that much energy, where he can really empty the tank against OKC. If OKC gets there, which I believe they will. Look, man, that's going to be a series to watch. And I'm ready for it already. And last but not least, my Lakers, all right? The Lakers versus the Rockets. Everybody is known, the Lakers are without Doncic. They're without Austin Reeves, but Austin Reeves is supposed to come back tonight. Yes, Lord, we need him. All right. But the Lakers, LeBron James, been doing his thing, man. He put him on his back. They won the first 3 games. They went up 3-0. They did lose game 4 in Houston. Just tired legs. The first game that they played with 1 day in between of rest. And so now going back to LA, 2 days of rest, back at home, back in your own bed. I do believe the Lakers go ahead and close the Rockets out tonight. Durant is not playing again. He's only played in 1 game. He played game 2, and they lost that game. So look, my Lakers, I do think I had them in 7 in this series. I thought that the Rockets would jump out early and then we would get healthier down the end of the series and we would come back and win. Looks like they might win in 5. But I did have them getting swept next series by OKC, regardless of if Luka came back and Austin came back. Even if they both came back, I didn't think they would be healthy enough to play the style of basketball it would needed to be played against OKC. So I do have OKC kind of just cruising another 4 games to the Western Conference Finals. So that's NBA in a nutshell. That is everything in the playoffs. My matchup that I had was Boston versus Denver. I'm going to stick with that. I'm not going to go off of it right now. I'm going to stick with Boston versus Denver. If it's not true, it's not true. Everybody has their predictions, and nobody is always right. All right, guys, we're going to move on to hockey, all right? Because the playoffs been hot over there, too. All right, so if you're not watching playoff hockey right now, I don't know what to tell you. This first round, ridiculous. We had some early week chaos, some tight games, overtime games, young players stepping into the spotlight. That's the beauty of the sport. 1 bounce, 1 shot, 1 mistake, whole series shifts. So Carolina Hurricanes, 1, 2, 3, 4, get them out of here. Colorado Avalanche, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get them out of here. Now the Kings did fight, but they couldn't fight too much. In moments like that, veterans, longtime captains, careers possibly wrapping up. That's what playoff hockey does. It makes you feel it. Other series, still messy, they mucking it up, getting physical, tempers flaring up. You got games where 1 hit changes everything. And yeah, discipline becomes a storyline too. Fines, hearing, all that. We had a couple legacy moments. Sidney Crosby said, not just yet, staving off elimination. Not once, but twice. And Chris Letang came up big in moments that most people tend to disappear. That's experience. That's playoff DNA. These boys is balling. They hooping. You feel me? Just last night, like I said, you saw teams fighting to survive. The Oilers stave off elimination. Shout out to the Ducks though. They've been they've been balling too. And Pasternak had the overtime goal to save the Bruins from elimination as well last night. Lightning Canadians, look, they're tied in a tight battle. That's 2-2. And game 5 is tonight. That should be a really good one. Stars, Wild. Another good one last night. Wild win 3-2. That series, Wild is up 3-2. I thought that series would go 7. Take Dallas in the next game. I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to extend the series. I need 7 from this series. Please, please give me 7. Vegas, Utah. I told you. Vegas is going to fight with Utah in this series. Look, 2-2. That game is tonight. Vegas, where you at? You going to take the lead or what? Look, NHL Playoffs is some of the best product in sports. Argue with your mama, because I ain't debating it. On the baseball, all right? Let's jump into baseball real quick. Now, we all know these are dog days, so there's a lot of games, and we can't dive into everything, but let's just get in, get out, and let's tell you who's hot, who's not in baseball, all right? Right now, New York Yankees smoking 9-1 in their last 10, and look out, all right? Regular season team. That's what they do. They win a lot of regular season games, but they don't win in the playoffs. I will believe them when they win the World Series. Until then, this is all fluff to me. Los Angeles Dodgers, same thing out west. Talent shows up every night, and when they get at least decent pitching, they're really tough to deal with. That's the Dodgers. The Braves, still smoking, all right? 8-2 in their last 10. They look really good. Really good. And then Cincinnati, the Reds. Look, even though the Cubs had went on a crazy run where they won like 9, 10 in a row, Cincinnati still leads that division. It's crazy. They're still playing good. That's how you stay consistent. And even when teams have crazy runs that are overplaying themselves and overplaying their talent, when you're good, you have good pitching, and you stay consistent, head down, pen to paper, 162 games. At the end, you typically come out on top. Who's been awful? Look, Philly, been awful, man. New York Mets, been awful, man. I mean, the Rockies and the White Sox look better than both of those teams. And that's saying something. Kansas City had been looking horrible. They won 4 in a row. Still are bad, but that's saying something. The Angels only got 1 win in their last 9 games. That was that game that Soriano pitched. He pitched the gym too. And the Rangers and the Astros just suck. Texas is going through it right now. Boston, they suck so bad, they fired everybody. I'm talking about position coach, manager, you batting coach, and everybody can go. And Philly said, you know what? We'll follow suit. Get on out of here, you too. These owners is like, we ain't having it. 30 games in, get out of here. Essentially, this is just a part of the season where guys are just stacking up, streaks. 3, 4, 5 game hitting streaks, 3, 4, 5 game winning or losing streaks. It's just the dog days of the MLB. A couple guys jumping off the page this week. You already know Aaron Judge doing Aaron Judge things. Look, this guy can hit the ball, all right? He just doesn't show up in the playoffs. I knew I'm dogging him. I know it's the second time I mentioned it, but it's the truth. Shohei Ohtani. Oh my gosh, this guy, pitcher, hitter, this guy is baseball. He is the reason why baseball is what it is now. All right. This is what baseball fans needed. They needed somebody where guys don't have to explain how good they are. You just see him. Big guy, can throw the ball fast, can hit the ball out the park. That's it. Even common baseball fans can love this guy because you don't need advanced stats to show you how good he is. Simple. Look, my way too early prediction, it still looks like Dodgers, Yankees. It does. But do the Yankees actually come through? Dodgers pretty much look like they're going to hold up their end, but don't sleep on Atlanta. All right. Team like Atlanta come out of nowhere. Well, not come out of nowhere, but teams like Atlanta that are disrespected all year long, they hold a grudge. They circle the Dodgers. They go all out. They make trades at trade deadline to beat that team. If Atlanta really wants to beat the Dodgers, they have to focus in on them. They have to do like NFL teams do, where they build their team to beat their teams in their division. Atlanta has to look past everybody in their division and look towards the Dodgers and say, if we don't outpitch them, we're going to lose to them. All right. So, Atlanta, you're on the clock. All right. What y'all going to do? Y'all going to take down this Dodgers team that's running the league right now? Or are you going to let them walk their way all the way up, back to the World Series and win again? Good luck to the rest of the league. It's going to be a long, 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 drawn out season. holla at me in September. You know what I mean? That's where things, the pennant races start, and then you start getting into October baseball, and that's when things really get good. For now, if anything exciting happens, you guys will be the first to know. That's baseball in a nutshell. Nobody's out of it. Nobody's safe. Everything can flip in 1 week. So next Wednesday, we'll see who's hot and who's not. If you ever want me to go deeper into the baseball stuff, just let me know. I got you. Let's go. It's a quick temperature check because if you really know me, you know that even though I really love football, something that I love also, and that's tennis. All right. So I'm about to drop in a quick segment of tennis for any tennis fans that are out there. I'm not missing out on you. This one's for you. In and out because most guys right now are just getting ready for Roland Garros, and they're trying to stay healthy for that. But they do have a tune-up that they're going through right now, and we'll jump in with some quick scores and show you what's going on. So first off, Alcaraz has pulled out of Roland Garros, so he won't be defending his title. All right, which is sad to see because everybody knew that we most likely going to get Alcaraz in center again. But look, now that Sinner doesn't have Alcaraz in his way, is this going to be his chance to win Roland Garros, or will he succumb to the pressure of, this is a must win almost for him at this point, and he choke it? Let's see. Who do you think? Do you think Sinner wins this Roland Garros, or do you think that, the field? Let me know in the comment section. Center won his match against Cameron Norrie. He won in straight sets. Oh, Flavio Cabali, he went and took care of Daniil Medvedev. Medvedev, he had like this quick resurgence, but at the end of the day, I think he's on his way out. He's trying to make a way. He's trying to make his way back, but I don't know, man. I don't know. He had his run, and his run was short, and he just seems like the guy that can be competitive in tournaments when the top five guys aren't playing. Casper Ruud, Tsitsipas. Oh my gosh, that one-handed backhand by Tsitsipas is so crazy. But when Casper Ruud is on, he is on. He is hard to beat. You're going to have to take him out. And Tsitsipas doesn't have too deep of a bag. He does have a crazy shot, but his bag is not as deep as Ruud is. And when Ruud can move around the court the way he can, dude, when he's on, he's really tough to beat. And I really, really like to see Ruud when he's playing good tennis. Oh, and then you got the 19-year-old Rafael Jodar, and he's going to get his crack at center. How well do I think he's going to do? Don't think he'll do well, but hey, man, look, congratulations, man. He's balling out, man, and he's gonna shoot up those boards really fast. Remember that name though, Rafael Jodar. Oh, and on the women's side, Arena Sabalenka. She fought a virus earlier in the week, but she still was able to go ahead and get the win. She did succumb, and she wound up losing to Haley Baptiste, which is a huge win for Baptiste. I mean, she normally is going to take those top girls to at least a three-setter. She typically doesn't beat them, so getting this one under her belt must feel good for her. How far will she go? I'm not sure, but she's one that I haven't seen her win a major, or she might have, and I might have missed it. But I like to see her. I would like to see her do well at some point because she's just a hard hitter. She plays so tough for her size. And yeah, man, it's good to see her get a win against one of the top dogs. And let's see what else she can pull off. If you want me to go more into tennis, if you're a tennis head and you want me to dive into matches and all that kind of stuff, if you want more of that, comment down below. Put a racket in the comment section. Let me know that that's what you want. All right. Oh, let's do a little rapid section that we missed a little bit earlier. Let's drop some names that went ahead and they committed to the NBA draft. AJ DeBonsta, Darren Peterson, Cameron Boozer, Caleb Wilson, and Elijah Arenas, Gilbert Arenas' son. I have to just throw that one in there because all the other names you pretty much know that they were going to commit. But just to let you know, Elijah Arenas is throwing his hat in that ring and he's saying, "I'm in there." Where do you think he's going to go? Comment down below. You think he's going to go in the first round, or you think they're going to Bronny him and he'll be the 55th overall pick, or does he go undrafted? Bold predictions. All right, guys, that's the week. That's the show. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. For real. 35 minutes is a long time to sit down and watch somebody. So if you made it to this point, look, that's real. That is not lost on me, not 1 second. So quick recap of the whole video. And just to let you know, I had to re-record this because my microphone died halfway through, and I recorded almost all of this with no audio. So shout out to me. Damon Jones pleaded guilty to selling information about LeBron James and running a scheme to be the poker face at rigged poker games for mob bosses. The 49ers had that draft. Wemby got hurt, then came back. OKC, Colorado, and Carolina all sweep their series, NBA and NHL playoffs. Knicks took control of their series. Sixers, Bruins, Oilers all staved off elimination last night. Phillies fired Rob Thompson. Boston fired everybody. Baez got hurt. Sending love out to my guy. Ohtani struck out 9 and lost. Center still rolling into Roland Garros. Sports are beautiful right now. All right, guys, just a couple of asks from you. Subscribe. It helps the channel. It's free, and it only takes a second. Comment. Tell me your team. Tell me what I missed. And if you want a deeper dive into any one specific segment, type that down into the comment section as well. All right. I will gladly nerd out in any section you want me to. Trust me. And share it. For somebody that you may know that is always busy and can't catch up on sports every day, they say, what happened in sports this week? Send them this video and tell them, I got you. Same time, same place, next Wednesday. New week, new sweeps, new drama, new Niners, new Lakers, new everything. Some takes will be right. Some takes I might regret. And trust me, there'll be more on the Damon Jones story too. If you missed sports last week, don't worry. I got you. This is Just Your Average Podcast. God bless. I'm out.